So how OCD works with your trauma is like, they kind of work as like a tag team system, right? They like play off of each other. So when we get traumatized or we have complex trauma, we obviously, that comes with a great deal of fear and a lot of distressing feelings. And OCD likes to attack the things that it knows that you're afraid of. That's how it can get your attention. It knows what you're afraid of. Deep down, deep inside, it knows what you're afraid of, right? And so I'm not talking about like real event OCD or false memory OCD that like somehow it's, knows something that you don't and that you refuse to see. I'm not talking about that. With false memory, it can be like, yeah, this abuse happened to you and you just, that memory, yeah, that vague memory, that really happened, didn't it? Yeah, it did. And you're like, what? I can't really remember. Like, was that a dream? Like, why am I thinking this? That's not what I'm talking about. And then I'm also not talking about like real event OCD where it's like, yeah, remember that one time you got in a fight with your sister? You pushed her. You wanted her dead, didn't you? Yeah, you're a killer. And you're like, well, no, I'm not a killer. Like, that didn't happen. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like we could have been like emotionally neglected. We could have been, in an environment where there was a lot of chaos. And so then it knows like you're afraid of being a bad person or you're afraid of being abandoned. And, the fear on the surface might look one way. We might have an obsession or compulsion that has to do with like a false memory or with contamination OCD. Or relationship OCD. It can really surface like and be, it can show up one way. But if you get down to the core fear, we find out something different. But yeah, they sort of work together. And the thing is about OCD is that it's still its own thing. If you have OCD, you need to learn how to work with it with exposure and response prevention. And talk therapy is not really going to do that for you. But different other therapies alongside exposure and response prevention, or perhaps like one and then the other, can help you work out like some of those deeper emotional issues. And exposure and response prevention can teach you how to live well with OCD.